everybody. Welcome back to Fabie and Sylvie TV. My name is Fabie, and
I don't feel like repeating my name every 5 seconds. Sylvie.
by this time, I think we're practically BFFs because you guys know know a lot about us. So, yeah, we wanted to welcome you guys to yet another episode of our Let's Talk Anonymous, and today, I really like the subject. I don't know. I'm so excited, and I guess you guys can tell because how excited I am to talk about today's subject because it's entitled "How do you know you're ready to move on or even to start a new relationship?"
You're right. So, for those of us who just joining us today, this afternoon or this evening, wherever you are in this world, last episode we talked about forgiveness, which was part two, and we had forgiveness part one. And pretty much after those two episodes, we are transitioning to okay, we've forgiven the person, the individual. So now we transition into all right. Let's open up our hearts again to love. So, how do you know that you are ready for that? What?
Um, so you guys, we always have that moment of you thinking and to know what you've done. And like Sylvie mentioned with our old subject that we talked about, what have you done differently? So tell us from the last time we're always together, did you do anything different? And your homework, as you know, Sylvie would be giving you homework today again. But did you do your homework? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe because when you subscribe and you press the bell button, it will let you know when we're live. So you can join us and you could join the chat because we'll be there to respond to you and the questions that you may have as you follow along with us.
Yep, that's what it is. I'm dreading. The only reason why I look like this is because I'm really dreading this question in a way. I didn't know. I'm just dreading it because I know Fab is excited about it, but for me, it's like, that is a good question. Really, do you
Well, when do you
even know?
know, right?
How do you?
So, as you guys know, if you've been following us for a while now, we always ask our getting to know questions, right? So, today we have a question, or I have a question for Sylvie, and it is what happened to it?
Yeah, take your time.
Right?
Take your.
Um, I don't remember if I asked you that. It says, if you had only one sense, which would you want? So basically, if you had only one sense, hearing, touch, sight, etc., which would you want?
Man, where you come from with those questions? Who asked those type of questions? And the only reason why I said that is because those are good questions. Because you know what? It makes you think for a second. Because that's a good question. What sense would I want to have if I had to pick one? And that's a good
And
question.
to be honest with you, I that wasn't even the question I was going to ask. I just have a list and I picked one. So I'm surprised myself. I just saw it and I read it. So I haven't even had time to process it
Mhm.
myself.
But I like it because that is true. If we had one sense and only one that we can pick, which one would we pick? You know, some people will probably go with the sight because they want to see, but sometimes do you want to see everything? Not necessarily. Then the taste, for those of us who love to eat, like me. I don't know if I could go eating and not tasting that food. I think, nah, I think I probably go crazy after a while. Could you imagine you just putting food in your stomach, you can't taste it? You have no taste for it? I don't know.
I
Oh,
don't know.
that's a very good question. Let's think about
You know
touch.
what? I think ooh.
Touch.
I
I want
think
to touch.
no, I think I would probably go with sight. Okay, I don't know
Sometimes
because
there are some.
because I'm trying to think if I see everything, it would help me. Like taste. I mean, yeah, I've lost my taste before, right? Smell, I've lost that before too. So it's like, maybe it'll be good because then you'll always be happy when your partner or a person fart. You don't have to smell it. It don't always have to be part positive. Tasting, you know, you don't always like everything. So I guess you could eat everything now because you won't know the difference anyway. I think the sight would probably be something for me. I don't know. Tell us in the comments, which one would you give up or which one would you take? I think that's a tough one too. I don't
And I
know.
want to hear. I want to be able to hear. But you know what? If you say,
Well, sign language, right? So I figured
yeah,
there's alternative for that. Like if I could see, then I could read lips and I could actually there's other forms of communication,
communication.
but also too by being blind, sometimes they say when you lose a sense or any sense,
The other
the
one is right.
other one is overpowering, right? So maybe in your sleep, in your dream, you can see the person or know your surrounding, whether it's smell or I don't know. I don't know.
Actually, there is a series show that is actually really good that is called See that I love.
Really?
I watched the whole season and literally it's about that where all of the individual in the show in the series show they don't have the sight. Well, actually not all, but a group of them they don't have the sight. And pretty much the whole theme, I mean not theme, but the whole main idea of the show, right, is that they go through, you know what, I'm doing a terrible job explaining this whole thing,
No,
but so
I
let's
like
just
that's
say
good
it.
to know because
It's
I've never watched it
no,
before.
it is a series show that's called See. It's with Jason Momoa and I other actors obviously, and I really like it. I like the whole concept of it, and I watched the whole season and I'm waiting for season 2. I'm
Okay.
waiting for season 2, but it is that like now that we're talking about what senses will we want to have, which one will we keep. The only difference is that in the show, vision is the issue here. Some will have vision and some will not have vision.
Okay.
So with that said, I feel like, you know, vision probably will cover everything, sort of, because you could see what you're eating, and even if you cannot taste it, you could somewhat, your mind could probably give you that taste,
Yes.
right? You could somewhat
Yeah.
picture or like, you know, have a taste for what you're seeing. So I think vision, we can agree vision will go with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I guess just going into the question, is that your favorite show?
That's one of my favorite show that
Okay. So
I
if you had to pick a series, what's your favorite TV show?
um I can't say one, but I have many. Like I like SWAT. I
Okay.
like Ellis Finest. Uh, I
Is there a pattern there?
right? It's like kind of sort of. I kind of sort of course. Um we I have other shows that I've watched that I like that I've got on. Also French um movies that I've seen that I actually like. So I have a couple. I'm really not a one specific favorite, but I have favorites with an S.
Okay. My favorite all-time TV show. Oh my goodness. Like you probably wouldn't even believe it. If you had to guess, what do you think? What do you think I like into?
Oh, let me guess. So, that is that a show? Let me ask you this question. Is that a show that's taking place right now?
Yes, it's
Okay.
still on.
Is it a new show?
No, 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 no. Well, I
Okay.
have many, but like just guess. I have
Okay.
many favorite shows that I'm
Is
watching.
this show comic?
No, not really. Well,
So it's
I guess every
drama,
show has some kind of,
drama, action.
I would say more drama.
Don't tell me Grey's Anatomy.
Listen, Sylvie, I love Grey's Anatomy, okay? I'm practically a doctor at this point. After 17 seasons, I love Grey's Anatomy.
So you could do open heart surgery right there on the spot.
Listen, at this point, Sylvie, you guessed on the nail. I love Grey's Anatomy, okay? that's a whole another episode that we have to talk about
To talk about,
because
right?
yes, but that is one of my favorite shows.
Favorite show.
And there's another show that I used to love, Army Wives, but it doesn't come on anymore. It's done. And I think I like anything Shonda Rhimes touches.
Scandal.
Yeah, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder,
Murder.
Station
Oh,
19. Like the whatever she touches, I think I'm in love with.
I
But
love Queen Sugar. Queen Sugar was a show too. I don't know when they're coming back. Queen Sugar,
I haven't
Greenleaf,
seen it. I now gotta
Greenleaf.
go. Yeah, Greenleaf, yes. I know now they're done. Yes.
Yeah, they're done. I
But
like
that's
those.
one of the things. It's funny. That's why I was like, I'm gonna let you guess, and you guessed right on the nail too. Your first try.
I'm like,
So this, as you guys get to know us, let us know what your favorite TV show. What are you binge watching right now? Especially we're in a pandemic. I want to know, like, if it's on Netflix, if it's on TV. Tell me what you're watching. Who knows? I might be interested to start a new series. I'm
me
always looking
too.
for something to watch on Netflix. So, are you ready, Sylvie? She's not ready.
You
I
know,
don't even
every
know why
time you
I asked that question.
exactly every time you ask me that question, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel by now. Like I should be used to it that when you say that is something coming, but it's like, I guess so. I have no other choice. I mean,
Let's
we are live.
jump. Okay, let's jump right into it. We're not gonna waste any time because now we're at the point where it's like, how do you know you're ready to date or even get into a relationship? Are there signs? Are there things that you look forward to that makes you say, "Hey, I'm ready," or things that I have to look at? Are there red lights, green lights? And this subject is very broad, right? So I don't think one show per se would cover everything that you can look forward to. And I guess it's more or less on what it is that you're going through and to know that if you're ready. Because I'm going to say something, and I know a lot of you may relate. It's when you least expect it that happily ever after comes. Sylvie, don't look at me like that. It's true. It's when you're not looking for a relationship. And boom, here comes this person that you're not looking. It's not a person that you're like, I'm out in the store. Let me look at the guys. Let me look at their shoe size. Let me look at their fit. Like you're
Did you say
you're
shoe size? Shoe size.
so things, I don't know, whatever your process is to put that. Okay, so I guess before I say how do you know you're ready, Sylvie, do you have a checklist?
No, me. No checklist. I
So
don't.
you don't have a checklist.
Nope. Don't know.
You've never had one?
I mean, checklist. Not that I've never have one, but at this point, it's like, when you ask for what you want, you get what you need, and when you ask what you need, you get what you want. I feel, or the opposite, where you ask for what you want and you don't get what you want. You don't get what you want. You don't get what you need. Either way, one of them. You know how they say, what you want is not what you need, and what you need
So,
is not what you want.
tell me, like, you've never had a checklist?
I have had plenty of checklists.
Okay. Because
I've
I
had
was about to say, how do you even go in regards to what comes your way?
no. I have checklists. I think that we
Okay.
have to have internally. You have a checklist, even if it's not specific, but you have a checklist of essentials, something that is
Yes,
basic,
yes. I guess
right?
I should
Basic.
clarify more.
Yes. We have essentials. We have basic. Like if somebody is presenting themselves to you, obviously, first thing, hygiene. I mean, hello. I don't want to do that, or I don't want to be high from 6 feet, like you see, like this.
Okay, so that's a necessity. That's essential.
It's a must.
Okay.
Hygiene,
Mm-hmm.
clean teeth, your face. I mean, you have to present yourself in a way in which you show that you care for yourself, for your body, for your skin, for, your look.
So teeth
Teeth,
is
yeah,
major
face.
and hygiene. Okay, so I'm just throwing questions because I like the way this is going. So I'm just gonna throw questions out there. I'm just like, I don't even want to go through the how do you know you're ready. I want to know what that essential looks like first. Okay, so I have a question.
Okay.
What if this person is a construction worker? And I'm not talking about the teeth though. I'm talking about more or less on this is an engineer or a construction worker, and he possibly owns his company. He's well put together. You happen to meet him at the time that he was going or come, well, most likely coming from work, and that hygiene that you're talking about is not there.
Actually, you could, I think, yes, because yes, I know that there'll be time where you get caught out there and it's like in transition where you just finish work and you may not look like you're the best clean, because obviously if your work involved you getting
Yes.
in deep and getting dirty, then that's what it is. But I think that somewhere, somehow, when you look at the person, you can still see that they maintain a level of cleanliness, right? I'm not
Mhm.
talking about the clothes being dirty in the sense where it's part of your job. We get that. But we could look at the fingernails and see, like, okay, despite the fact that you are involved in a job that requires and will get you to get hands dirty, you don't fail to, yo, my shift is over, let me wash my hands, right? You kind of have those where under your nails, you kind of manage those things. Like, you, there's certain things distinctively that people do that despite the fact that you may look like you had, I guess, mud just thrown at you. But in some way, somehow, because I tell you honestly, I have encountered construction men that works in the construction fields, and I swear to you, those clothes will be like with paint and whatever, like it looks like it's dirty. But I've legit been standing next to one, and when I tell you his clothes smell freaking good, like I could tell that was tight. I don't know who was doing his laundry, but god damn it. Ooh, the clothes. And I was on a train. So I'm guessing probably he was going to work, leaving work, whichever. But I've stood literally in the train next to, and I'm like, I said, wait, what's that smell? I'm like, God damn, this is tied on a train. And I look and I'm like, he smells. Yes.
Okay, so I want to see. I'm gonna write this down. I want to tackle that. Give me the rest of your essentials because we talked about hygiene being one, and that includes teeth, like the nail
Teeth,
care, teeth,
face, the nails,
cleanliness. So what
cleanliness.
else
Yes.
is
The
on your
hair,
essentials?
the hair. It doesn't matter. The hair, whether it's dread, whether it's a low cut fade, whichever. Like your hair, you keep it, you
Right.
maintain
So
it.
that's part of that.
The whole overall,
Yes.
yes,
So we'll
hygiene
put it as
package.
hygiene. Okay.
Yes, hygiene package.
So what else is on your essential list?
The breath.
But that would be part of the hygiene, right? So like you have clean teeth, and when you speak, that you're not knocking me out.
Yes.
So what would go next?
Um, okay, so part of the hygiene package, we covered that as far as skins, hair, teeth, face, whatever. Nails, we got that. The smell, body odor, we got that. Next, essentials must have. This is me, and I cannot for the life of me deal with. I'm scratching my ears here. I'm like, I'm
It's
debating,
your
should I
essentials.
say
Everybody's entitled to their essential, right? Like there are things that are must have.
I'm the type of person where I'm given, like, I can't do the extremely like cheap. And when I mean like
Okay.
cheap, meaning that it's not like we spending like we crazy, even though we
So,
have it or we may not have it, whichever. But it's like
but
I can't have.
that would put you at the dating though, right? So right
Yes.
now we're talking about more or less meeting. So before you even get to the number. So I guess that's going to be our how do you get to the number? What's our
Okay.
essentials
So
to get to the phone number?
um politeness, like I need you to,
Yes.
yes, politeness,
Yes.
like respectful. You don't have to be, or, but yeah, respectful. Polite. It's your approach. Okay, so if we stick into that, we'll say approach.
Okay.
Essential will be the approach. So hygiene approach, we first meeting, no problem.
So do you give or do you take the number?
It all depends on the situation, the environment, the way I'm feeling on that day, how I was approached. It all depends. It all depends, honestly. And it goes for men and women. It all depends. Like if the woman is trying to approach the man and he's just chilling with his friends, his homies, I don't know. There's a specific approach. Or maybe, if the woman is chilling with her friend and they're really focusing on just enjoying their time, it's an approach different. And sometimes some people don't like to approach people with a group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say if you see a person, an individual, and you're interested, you may not necessarily want to approach them while they are in a group. You might
That's
want to have
great.
them, a little bit aside, and then you make your approach. It all
What
depends.
do you prefer though?
uh as far as me approaching,
Mm-hmm.
well, if I were to approach, I don't know. It all depends on the vibe, because I'm kind of like the kind of, sometimes I don't know. I guess it's leading into, how do you approach? What is it that
Yeah.
the icebreaker? What would you say to get somebody's attention? I guess we kind of lead into that, right?
Okay. No. I agree. And I think so now that we're talking about how do you get to the number, right? Um, for me, I just to pick it back on the original subject of what we were starting with on how do you know you're ready to move on, right? And I think it's a work in progress. To be honest with you, I don't think anybody ever go and say, I'm ready to start dating now as of tomorrow, whatever the date is at this time, and I will put myself out there because life happens. There's a lot of things that comes in the way that you're like, okay, I'm not there. Now, if you are still emotionally attached to a person, I don't think jumping into another relationship is right because it's not fair to you and that person. I do think you do need time to heal and time to take care of yourself. And I always say you have to learn to love yourself first. Find yourself in order to give that next person the opportunity to be loved by you or for you to love them.
I agree.
So, so that's that. Um, I'm not a counselor. I'm not a psychologist. So I'm not going to go into emotionally burdens or emotional things on what those triggers look like. But as we talk and we have these conversations, different perspectives, I do think that it is a work in progress. I would just give my perspective and Sylvie will share hers. But it may work for you or it may not. But ideally, for me personally, I've um, I've never been the chaser, Sylvie. I haven't been a chaser, and sometimes my husband will watch this live, and I'm getting in trouble for this. I always wish that before I got married, I had an opportunity of actually do the chasing to see what
Really?
that's like. I
What
don't
it's
have
like?
that opportunity where I've reached out to someone first and like okay, so listen to this though. I've been the matchmaker where I would approach someone for a friend.
It's
I
easy
always
to
have
do.
the perfect words or the perfect idea, like, hey, my friend over there want to talk to you. Like, listen, back in high school or even middle school, just going to that stage and going somewhere to the movies with my friends or family members, it was easy because it wasn't for me. But I've never been, or I guess I never had a friend do it for me either for some reason. So it's like I don't have that experience to say, I always was like Two Can Play This Game or something where it was like Vivica Fox. Did you see that movie? Two
How
Can
to
Play
play this?
That Game.
Who can play that game? Yes.
So where it was like he approached her, Morris Chestnut. That's like my celebrity crush. Okay, one of them. Where he
Andrew, you
approached
hear
her while
that?
he got a list of his own too, so he knows. Where it's like he approached, like you just said, um, her with her friend, and it was like you're bold to just come up to me to say
Come
this
on.
thing, right? And you don't care about what we're gonna talk about you. So I've been in that kind of situation, but also too, I think it's different because I haven't been the chaser, and any lasting relationship that I have been on, it wasn't a easy where it was like, hey, I'm single, I'm free, I'm ready to mingle. It's always been in the worst time, not the worst time, but in a time where I was probably focused on school or focused on work.
Mhm.
And it was like, it's not the right timing. And because of the fact that I have a lot of male influences and stuff, I always feel like, okay, I don't have time for this. Like, Fabie, you're a player, you're a pimp. You never want to settle to be with one person. Not, I said, I don't have time to manage everybody. Say like you're a number and you're a number. It was like, and this is why I say when we talk about me and Andrew, how it started, people wouldn't even understand that he actually did a whole year of chasing, and I never really remember that. I don't I'm not lying. I don't remember until it's like we went back. Just I think it was just last month. I was like, Andrew, do you know the first time you actually reached out to me and you tried to talk and whatever the case might be? And we went back and we have the archives, okay? And I said, I'm gonna save this for our kids to be like, kids, this is what to happen. And my conversations, and I was saying, oh Lord Jesus, like what was I going through? I don't remember. Like it was a whole year. And then it was a gap, and then it was back. And I remember telling this guy, like I told Andrew, I said, um, you've never even been outside of the country. So I live in Canada. You know how you talking to someone, but you know it's not going to go nowhere. I knew it wasn't going to go nowhere. I believed in myself, like, you're wasting your time and I don't do long distance. This is not going to happen for me. I had a vision of who I was going to be with, where I was going to be. I said, I was going to marry a certain type of people that would be rich and that I would live happily ever after being in Canada. I had a mindset, okay? And everybody knew it. They're like, Fabie says she's gonna marry this person, not this person particular, but a specific type of person that had to be rich. And that's what it was. And I don't know. It was different. So for me, I think for an essential would be everything that you've mentioned. It makes sense. I mean, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? But also too, I think a good conversation is big for me. Not just you have to be able to make me laugh. I have to feel like I'm learning and growing with you. And that's big for me. So if the initial contact, and that's to get to the number, because obviously you're not going to get all your questions answered in the midst of that. But that initial conversation, like I think we're all at the point, we're not in high school anymore, where it's like, hey, little mama probably don't do anything for me anymore. Like it
Hey,
never did.
shorty.
Or
Yeah.
ski you, like don't ski you me. Like don't do that. So
Ooh.
so like I think at this point you need a person to be able to talk to your mind, talk to your soul, talk to your body in general. Like people don't even have to say much, but just the first approach, you could already see what that conversation would be like. Like, do I want to hear more about you? Am I curious? You have to get me to
Mhm.
be curious. And then based on my curiosity would lead me to know that one, are you a man of God? Because that's big for me. And you could get to the checklist then. But getting to the number, you have to make me curious. Whether is I'm curious to know that you're too good to be true, or I'm curious to prove myself to know that you're a player and you're wasting my time. Either or, to get to the number, I have to feel like that
Well,
curious has to be there.
well, what you're saying essentially is that it's a vibe. It's really a vibe and how
Yes,
you feeling the
yes.
person. Because I think that even if the person, let's say, was to approach you in the and use humor or be a little bit comical or whatever it is, it's all on how it was done, and it's really the way you sensing that vibe. And people don't know. I mean, not don't know, but people, I guess, may not realize, some people probably will not realize how important that vibe is. I think it's everything. I think, because that will be the first start off of, how sometimes you could be in a room with somebody and you're like, oh my god, nah, I'm not. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me.
Yes,
It's like a vibe that they
yes.
give off
But
where,
that's not all the bad thing though. Because the
correct,
reason,
correct.
okay, so let me just say that. I guess it depends on where and what the vibe is. Because there's different ways and methods right now. Like right now, you're probably not going to walk on the street and meet somebody, or you're not going to be able to tell their teeth. Everybody wearing a mask.
In a mask. Correct.
So it's hard. It's hard, right? So especially you guys, tell me what you're doing right now. Has any of you viewers, our subscribers, have you started a new relationship right now? Tell me, like since the pandemic, how did you go about it, or what's been happening? If you don't mind sharing with us, because I want to know, because it's different. Because we're talking about what has worked for us, but this is all pre-COVID. So
Yes,
if you're
pre-COVID.
dating, if you're in a new kind of like talking or getting to the number, let me know. Would you even give a person out your number right now you met at the grocery store with the
Let
mask
us
and everything, like
know.
you haven't? Because I'm curious, because to be honest with you, Sylvie, like a person online, right? Even if it's like
Mhm.
on social media, to start dating, what would that look like? Because you're not going to get the face-to-face vibe. It's just going to be on words. So you kind of have to make your brain work on the approach as well. To the vibe is another approach. So it's like there's different ways. And for me, when you finally get to the step of having the number, what does that look like? How long do you put in your mind that the person has to call or message you before you say it's no, it's done?
What you mean? How long? Like you got the number and then it's like waiting a week?
So we're not thinking about COVID or pandemic right now.
Mm.
So the vibe is right, and he asked you for your number. And because of the fact that the vibe was right, usually you're like, no, I'll take yours. You actually give him the number. What is that timeline that you say,
Oh,
this
yes.
person's supposed to reach out
Timeline.
to me?
Yes, that's a good question. That's true. What's the timeline? Because I know I've done that. I'm like, one day, 2 day, nah, the whole week. Like you know how you feel. You
Because like, what time? What's the? Because remember, we're talking about how do you know you're ready to move on. So this person came out of nowhere because you weren't really looking for someone, but because the vibe is right, you're trusting yourself. You're going through the process to say, let's see where this goes. So we're at this giving the number stage. How long do you wait?
Well, we, like you said, we're not babies. It's not high school. It's not college. Obviously, we exchange numbers, so that means we are interested into communicating with one another. So to me, it's like, okay, if let's say today is Monday, by the time I leave and I'm on my way, I say, you know what, it was nice to meet you. And hopefully you could
So
you
you
could shoot
would
a
text, like
you
if
could
you
shoot
guys
a text that
exchange
same day.
numbers, you would actually text them.
Yeah, meaning that it's Monday. If I met you, I don't know, early that afternoon where, it was like 2 p.m. or whatever, I could, text you that same afternoon and be like, yo, you know what? It
You
was
don't think
nice to
it would
meet
be
you.
like
And
desperate?
no, I don't think it would be desperate because we
Okay.
both exchange numbers where it's like, it was nice to meet you. Hopefully we could link up sometime. Done. Once you do that, because it's like you have to get over
You're a
that.
chaser, Sylvie.
No,
You're a
I'm not
chaser.
actually. I'm not because you
You're
want to
not?
get. No, I'm not. You want to get
See,
over
I'm
that.
so shy. I'm so shy. I'll be like, mm-mm. He got my number. I'm going to see when he
Not.
calls me, when he texts me, and how long does it take for him to text me? And is he going to text or is he going to call? I have a different, I don't know why I do that, but I have a different standard. I feel like the first time you reach out to me should be a phone call, not a text message. I feel like you should want to hear my voice. You should be able to talk to me. If we text afterwards, then it's fine. Because I think I may be wrong, guys. Please don't be hard on me in the comments. But I feel as though um I want to learn more about you and the way you start a relationship and the way that you've accustomed, make yourself comfortable would give that person a standard of respect for you. And if the first time you get my number and your first instinct is to text me, I would rather you call and probably I'll not answer the first call and
You're
see if
doing
you
too
call
much,
back.
Fab. Cut that. Cut that.
I do
Cut that. You're
that.
doing too
I
much.
am being honest
You
with
do it
you.
too much.
I do that. I'm not lying to you. I just want to see, are you interested? A person will go with what they're after. Listen, a guy will make time for who matters to him.
Of course,
I
but we're
know
talking
within
about.
the first, okay, because the reason why I say I do that is the fact that is the person gonna call back or is the person gonna send a text? If they leave a voicemail or don't leave a voicemail, I don't like voicemail. I'm telling you 100%. Don't leave me voicemails when
Yeah,
you
but they
call
don't
because
know
I'm not
that.
going to listen to it.
They don't know
I'm
that.
just letting you know if they leave a voicemail or if they hang up, I'm going to see if they text back. So if, like, let's say it's in the daytime, you call by the evening, maybe a couple of hours later, you can't make yourself readily available to pick up when the person calls. I'm sorry, Sylvie. That's just me. I don't make myself that available to you. I just met you. So it's not about being, it's just, I have to make it seem like me talking to you is because I want to talk to you because I want to get to know you more, not because I'm bored or not because, or whatever the case might be. And sometimes people take that for granted to know that to be on the phone with someone, you should take that into consideration that this person is actually genuinely wanting to talk to you. So,
Okay,
yes,
but
I will. Go ahead.
hold on. Pause right here because I hear what you're saying. But what I'm trying to say to you also as well is that again, if the person is making the attempt to reach you, texting is not necessarily a bad thing because you might want
It's
to text the
not. It's
person.
not.
Wait,
But
but wait. You might want to text the person to let them know, hey, is it a good time to call you? Because people have done that where they shoot you a text and say, hey, this is so and so, I was just wanting to find out if, is this a good time to call you? And then when you say yes and you respond, then it follows by a phone call. And then you don't want to have the person reaching out to you. Let's say there were no texts and they just called and then you don't answer. I mean, it is taking some kind of, attempt where rejection is really real out here in the street. And like when you're
no,
doing
no,
all
no,
this,
no. And that's what I'm saying. Okay, so, but you said what, like, okay, I guess I should clarify more on what I'm saying. I don't want a hi or just a good morning text or good afternoon text with nothing. Like, I want a conversation. I
of
don't want you to
course,
say, like, hi. Because if you say good morning, I would respond good morning to see what you say. Because
correct.
then now it's gonna make it seem like I want a person to be like, "Good morning, hope you had a good night, have a great day." Then I'll be like, "Yes, my night was good. How was yours?" Then that way it shows me. If you're messaging me to see if I'm available, that's different. I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say, "Oh, well, I'm not gonna talk to you because you text me first, you didn't call." No, that's being respectful, and I would actually you get bonus points, because that just makes it seem like you're mature. You have potential and you're not going to waste a person's time or you don't want to interrupt a person if they're doing something. So I wanted to clarify that. But if it's just like a good morning and they feel like, okay, this conversation is not going anywhere, then it makes me not interested very fast. So I guess I should say I prefer the first interaction to be over the phone. If we end up texting more, which I think most people now text more than they possibly speak on the phone, depends on where you're doing in your daytime, then it makes it okay. Um, I think one of the things that I do early on to dating is I do that. Yes, I do want you to call me first. And if I don't answer, I'm going to wait to see if you're going to call me again, or if you're going to text me to say, hey, I tried reaching you. Give me a call back when you get a chance. And I will respond. I will text back or I will phone back to have that initial conversation to not waste my time. Because a lot of people are good texters, but they don't communicate well.
Okay, but we agree then. We said the same thing, we just said it differently. Because I agree, initial conversation should be over the phone where we're
Mhm.
speaking and we
Yeah.
have a conversation. However, some people prefer to text first before giving that initial
Yes,
call.
I
Some
agree with
people
that
prefer to
part.
do that. They prefer to, you know what? I don't know you, you don't know me, but however, let me text you and see if you're available. Then we could actually have that conversation, because there's nothing worse than you start and maybe you know the person is
Yes.
working and then you call them and it's like, I can't really stay on the phone right now because I'm at work. So you want to actually establish that time where you have both time to talk and have a full conversation over the phone. That cannot happen if you're not first asking the person, hey, you know, how you doing, good morning, I wanted to give you a call, I'm not sure if it's a good time, let me know. That's acceptable where you
Yes.
are
No,
sending
and
a
yes,
text.
you're right. You're right. And
So
I agree
that's
with you.
that's the same thing that we were saying, because I was saying that too. Some people we will do that. So before we go and we move further into that, we need to take a little quick break, because I know some of you are probably like, "Oh my God, why are they talking and they're just not breaking in a little?" Yes, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna give you that break, and then we could come back in and really go in depth into this discussion. And of course, give us your questions, comments below, subscribes, and we'll be
What
right
do
back.
you do? Exactly.
Don't ask me what I did.
Oh
I didn't go
goodness.
nowhere. I just stayed right there.
I had some water. So yes, tell me, what's your process? Like, what do you do? Is there certain things or not games you play? And I know some people are like, okay, well, I don't have time to play games. If I want you, I want to be able to talk to you. But I think I do have a process, and like I mentioned, in terms of the calling and then the time that I speak to you. I think in the first talking stage before we're official or until we're actually official to know that I'm going to be in a relationship with you, I don't speak to the person past 10 o'clock, whether it's text or not. And I think that's just making the person feel like you don't have me yet. And I'm not going to make myself readily available to you. And that I still cater to myself. Even if I'm waiting for that good morning text or good night text. And nonetheless, if it's after that time, I don't respond to the morning. I treat it like a business, almost 9 to 5. I respect that. It's like you can't want me or you can't have me where you want me to be yet. We're not there yet. So it's either you're going to do what it takes to be at that level or not. And that way it kind of helps rule out okay, this person asks too much and I don't have time for that because I have Tracy, Yolanda, Barbara, and that's okay. Bye. See you later. But if there's still some people that is very good at their craft, that then they would be able to start process of elimination on the Tracy's, Barbara's, and Yolanda's, because they'll be able to say, okay, this one is different from the rest. Because the other person is like late convo, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I want to get that, but that's when it's me and you. We're together now. So yes, I can spend a couple of hours on the phone. Like I'm not gonna lose my good sleep for we to just be on the talking stage. I'm sorry.
Did she say her good sleep?
No, you have to. There's stages to that, and this is why they always say, don't give wifey duties when you're just a girlfriend. Like, if I could get everything from you by you being a girlfriend, then why would I make you a wife? What, just the title now? And this is why a lot of people don't value you being a wife, because it's just like, well, we live together, I cook, I do everything for him, so there's no rush. That's what the guy will be thinking. That's where you have the 4 or 5 year engagements or relationships, and like, we're not at the point for you to settle.
I don't know. For me, I see it, I guess because over the years, after past relationships and experiences, I gained a little knowledge here and there. And I feel that for me, in my opinion, when somebody wants to marry you, they want to marry you. If you're talking about a man, he's going to marry you no matter what. It really is not going to matter if you are doing wifey duties, girlfriend duties, this duty, that duty. It is really up to how he feels about you in his heart. Like once you have his heart, there isn't really too much that you got him. Like this is who he wants. He wants you, period. You could have 10 children, 5 kids. I mean, I don't know, drama. Like it's really on how the feeling, how the person feels about you, and really that if you have their heart. And I think it's the same thing. Like when you look at a woman, if she wants her man, she wants him. It doesn't matter. She wants to be with him. And I don't think that after a while doing all of these things is really going to matter, because that's who they want. I mean, you have people that they do all kind of playing those games, however you want to say it, and it's like at the end of the day, they're still sticking to you because they decided that you are who they want to be with. So it really
And
doesn't
that's
matter.
like, being in a relationship, you don't stand on just love itself too, right?
No.
So, and that's the reason. It's not about more or less on games or rules or whatever the case might be. It's more or less on the standard and the respect that I have for myself in that aspect, and things that I won't tolerate, right? Because they always say you set the foundation at the beginning. So anything that I say in terms of what I do and what I look forward to doesn't mean that it's going to be a perfect relationship, or you won't have tools or managing or controlling. It's nothing along that line. It's just more or less on, it's like working a job.
Yeah, but then with everything, even with job, there's always changes. So even if we have to
Exactly.
apply,
But
even
as
if
you
we
come
have
in at an entry level, you're not going to be doing managed supervisory duties and just say that, oh, I'm proving myself. No, because of the fact that when I become a supervisor, there are job descriptions, there are things that I'm supposed to do. Now that I'm a manager, there are things that I'm supposed to be doing as a manager, that if the person's still on this entry level position, that we're not the same. I can't be a manager and expecting or accepting this entry level workload from you. So it's either we both grow together, and a lot of the time I understand the idea of, if you want to be with the person, regardless, that's who you're going to end up with. I get that, and I agree with you. The other part of it that people rush it, and a lot of, from my perspective, failed relationships happen because of the comfort and because of the love, because you do a lot for people that you care about and people that you love. But also, too, that regulations was not set from the beginning. So that expectation would always be there from the person. And then you end up being hurt because you give your all, you come in at 110%. Is not having a barrier or a block. But a lot of the times, too, we often put ourselves in a position where, as a female, and this is why another thing that I ask for is the maturity level and the age gap difference. That's a big thing for me, too, because for me, as my age, I am quite mature. And I'm not saying that because I know I am, in terms of what I've seen and what I educate myself on. That standard, as a person that might be even younger than me, could be more mature than me and older. It's just, I look at age, but also to the maturity level. I didn't say that a person has to be 5 years older or 2 years or younger. It's just, there's a lot of things that I look at to see, okay, if you're this age, I expect a certain level of maturity from you. If it's not there, then It doesn't mean that I won't be with you, but I want to see if you're going to get yourself there. You have to match my maturity level or be beyond me. And you have to balance me out. Because a lot of the time, too, I find, and this is why I've been restrictive of what I've seen. And I'm like, you know what? I cut myself from the middleman, from the I wasted 2, 3 months from you and we have nothing in common. Because from the beginning stages, a lot of us don't ask those questions until you've been 2, 3 years in. And it's like, well, do you actually want to get married? Do you want kids? I would come straight out at the beginning, talking stage. We're not at baby yet. So of course, we're not even at the moment of saying I love you because we didn't even upgrade to have a good night, babe. So I'm going to ask those questions and it'll be uncomfortable for you. And it's supposed to be uncomfortable right early on of these are my expectations, and not when you go to meet my mom and daddy for them to say, what's your expectation? What's your vision with my daughter? What's your goals for them? No, because I've already done that. And a lot of the times people put themselves, especially females, because they say when you're at the dating stage, the guy, like when you guys meet, you're both at that talking stage. We are already thinking, when do you think this guy's going to take it to the next level? We're probably already thinking of what our wedding dress is, what our kids' name's going to be at. Our brains works 100%. You could give, like, where do we see ourselves? We are visualizers, right? But then the guy is still here. Like, let me see where this goes. We're at that, when is he going to pop the question? But we're not even an item yet. By the time the guy's like, okay, I think this is the person I want to be with. I like the vibe. It's good. We're already thinking, when is he going to engage? But he is just about to make it official with us. By the time they reach on, I want to spend the rest of my life, but I'm going to propose. We already know the kids' names, where we're going to give birth, where we're getting married. We're so fast. And a lot of times the guy always have to play catch up because we're already so far ahead in the relationship. We're probably already have our house and our families and our kids. And the guy is just realizing that I know I want to spend the rest of my life with you, but I need to be ready. And being ready means a lot for a lot of different people. But it's not in terms of games. It's more or less on, like we talked about, essentials and the do's and don'ts. For me, I don't give myself to a person that I am talking to. I make myself available. We can talk and text, but I would go a day without messaging you. I do that. I will go a day without messaging you.
I
Why
don't.
do you have to text me every single day? We're talking.
But if we're talking and we try to get to know each other, wouldn't that be where you start to get to know each other? And part of that is that at least, a word or two is said on an everyday basis. I don't know. I'm bothered with if if you get to talk to the person after, let's say, it's going good after 2, 3 months. I don't see why there should be a gap where I don't hear from you for a whole day. I mean, as far as pacing
Well,
is concerned.
but why would we be on a talking stage for 2, 3 months though?
So okay, so everybody go at their own pace. Some individual they at the talking stage the whole month, 2 weeks, I don't know, whatever. All I'm saying is that I think it really depends on the two individual themselves, how they feel as far as going to that pace, how they feel as far as what was established from the beginning. If from the beginning they established like, yo, we are trying to talk to each other, so every day I think we should have a word to say, because I mean, again, you cannot get to know somebody if you don't talk to them. To me, I gotta talk to you. Like, we gotta talk. Like, one day you talking to me, the next day you're not talking to me. It's sending mixed signals. You throwing me off. I don't know. You talking to me or you're not talking to me?
So
I don't
would
know.
you say that from the beginning then? Because you said something there.
Yes,
Did
from the
you set
beginning.
those
If
boundaries?
we exchange number, it's for a reason, isn't it? If we are at that level, we're not college students, we're not little kids. We are adults, right? Mature adult, in quotes. So taking that into consideration, we exchange number. Isn't that so that we could make plan? Let's go out on a date, or let's hang out, or spend some time together, or let's start to have that conversation where we building up. I feel that if I'm starting to talk to you Monday, hey, it was nice. We had a good conversation yesterday, blah, blah, blah. I mean, Tuesday, wouldn't you want to start and say, hey, by the way, I know it's Tuesday, but how you doing? How was your day? Like, you don't want to have that? Like, where,
It's
okay,
not that I don't want to have it, but also too, my world didn't start or stop just because I gave you my number yesterday, Sylvie. So yes, if okay, listen, I'm going to give you my perspective on it. Okay, so we just met. So I am okay with the idea of you saying within the first 24 hours, I'm not going to say I expect something from you day to day. So let me just give you what an ideal month would look like, or what has worked in the past, or what has been done, or whatever the case
yeah,
might
watch
be.
your words, Andrew. Andrew.
So here's the thing though. Okay, it worked. Like for some reason, I guess we both thought the same because of the fact that ideal month. Okay, I just meet this person and we exchange numbers. I would love the idea of sending that message you say you would send. It was nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. But to be honest with you, in my mind, it's always been like 48 hours. I won't think nothing of it. That's my mind. I give that leeway of 48 hours. And then if in 48 hours you don't say anything, regardless of whatever, like if we exchange numbers, if the person gets my number, um, I usually like to take the number and then to give mine. But I'm just gonna say, if for whatever reason you were fine, I gave my number, I give you 48 hours to call me. After 48 hours, if you don't call, it's weird, Sylvie. It's weird. I actually like it though. It makes me feel like, for some reason, it makes me feel like you got something going on. Not that you forgot about me, but I'm waiting for that first conversation. I think I give you the maximum a week. If a person is a week, if you reach out to me after a week, then it's fine. If it's in the first 7 days, that's my full grace period. And I think based on that first conversation, that's why I prefer it to be a phone call. And then it could be like, I don't want the excuses of why you didn't call. Because I will stop you dead in your track. And that has happened before, where a person's like, to be honest with you, I wanted to call you, but I didn't want to sound desperate. So I waited a couple of days. You know how many times I hear that? Where I'm like, well, you should have just called. And I'm like, yeah, I probably wouldn't call you or text you because I know I would have done the same thing. I've heard that before where people are like, I actually want to talk to you the same night. Even if you're playing games, I don't know. You might be lying out your teeth. You probably totally forgot and probably, I don't know. I'm probably just a number on your phone. But I rather feel as if like I'm gonna take, I saw that she was with your girls, or I saw that she was whatever. I wanted to give a couple of days. You probably don't even remember who this is. In my mind, in my head, I'm expecting that call. So that's why I said in the first 48 hours, it doesn't mean that the person gets a bonus point, but I'm actually expecting that message within that 48 hours to see how long it takes that person to message me. But we're talking about the month. So this person makes the first contact. We talk on the phone. That's fine. But we're going to the point where it's like, when do we set that guideline? Yes, it's okay. If you send me a message like, good morning, hope you have a wonderful day, that's fine. I will respond back and say the same thing. But, and then if that night you said, how was your day? That conversation is okay as we make plans to date or whatever the case might be. But early on the first week, I think for me, I will feel like I'm overwhelmed to choose to text you, one, at work, choose to text you throughout the day for the first week or so. If we talk in the evening on the phone, daily, that's different. But that access, fully access, whether I'm working, because sometimes I like the idea to feel like I won't interrupt you at work. You have to respect my job and I will respect your job. When we're in item, I'll take that risk for you. So that after conversation, the morning, if you're like, hey, what do you do for work at this point? Because at the first conversation, I think that's the basic you talk about, right? Like, where do you work? Like, what do you do? So then that person might then ask permission. Would it be okay for me to text you in the morning, or do you prefer to speak at night when you get off work, or whatever? What is the best time to reach you? Because I like to continue to talk to you. Then that guideline will be set. But do I feel like if we go a day without speaking, it'll be an issue? No, like the next day, I'll probably send a text like, hey, hope everything's okay. Have a great day. I like that checking on you, everything's okay. But throughout the whole day, in the morning, lunchtime, text, no, like,
Nah, that's
I don't
not
like
that's not
that.
that's not necessarily what I was referring to. I mean, some people that works for them. I think that it really all depends to whatever works for those two individuals at that time, specific time, right? Their time, their pacing, their vibe. Again, for me, it's really a vibe, it's really how I'm feeling. I don't want to particularly have all of those rules, guidelines. Like I like to be free in a sense to be who I am. And if this is what you want, then that's what you want. If this is not what you want, then that's not what you want. Because at this point in time, it's like for me, I don't feel like I want to do so much of course, there are some kind of standard that you would want to establish. But I think that those are things that if we are two both mature adults, that shouldn't be things that we necessarily have to say because it's understood. We are mature, obviously. We just not getting to know each other. So you working, I'm working. We have established that. So check, you checking on me. Hey, what you doing? Is it a good time to call you? Like there's certain things that I think once you're an adult, you will do automatically. There's no need for somebody to tell you that,
And,
in my
and I
opinion.
agree, because sometimes
So
when you click, you click. When you know, you know. But apparently, like, it's gonna sound so Disney. You possibly have to kiss many frogs to get there. So it sounds easy to say, but Sylvie, you do have to set those guidelines, because sometimes some people will feel like you're exclusive to me, or who you on the like, those sets red alerts and red flags. And this is why I say I do that not just for me. It's more or less on knowing, are those signs are gonna be there? What would that person say? Would that person, because even if you have it there, it doesn't mean that it's gonna always be respected. Because I mean, for the right person, I'm willing to break my own rules. Like,
yeah,
oh,
but
I'm just saying that person has to put you in that thing. Because, like I said, I never would have thought we would have ended up being here, because I was not looking for somebody. I was not even trying to see, was I even attracted to you first, more or less on it was the conversation that got us there. Because, like I said, the chasing was there. It wasn't, I was blindsided. Like, I guess God knew I wasn't ready at that moment.
so
So,
well,
go
I
ahead.
mean, I'm guessing, for everybody, everything's different. Everybody got different starts as far as the dating is concerned. I feel that sometimes, we could be, yes, we could be a little bit too much, where in a sense where too much where yes you have your expectation, but I mean if you get to know somebody, once you establish this is what it is, it's all about communication. I think if you tell the person like you know what, I'm okay with you texting me this time, please do me a favor, don't text me at midnight please. Like I think that once you
Yeah.
get to talk to the person, you said little things like that, it's easy, it's picking up, and now it's like all right, she doesn't want to call or he doesn't want to call. Like regardless, I think it's really based on the vibe and how the two individual feel about getting to know each other, where they establish that along the way. You don't want anything complicated nowadays, and nobody wants anything complicated. And before you know, you may have started saying, "Oh my God, I want to be with that person," and that person is like, they're not there. And then in the midst
Mhm.
of all of this dating, now all of a sudden you slowing down, and the person is like full blown speeding. Like it's like sometimes it could be imbalance where one is here and you there, you're not there. Like
Exactly. And that's what I said. Like, it's not a rule book a
No,
roadmap to dating.
no.
And when I say those things in terms of rules, and I know internally, like I'm being straightforward in terms of like how I go through my process, how I get myself ready. Because remember, we're saying like a lot of the times it comes out of the blue. It's not because you're saying, okay, I'm gonna be ready next month. That doesn't happen. Like if it
Mhm.
happened for you, let me know in the comments. But I'm just saying in general, ideally, when you get with that person or whoever that person was, it was random at the least when you least expected it. So those quote unquote rules is not saying that there's a checklist that you're holding to say, okay, this is the next question I'm gonna ask tomorrow. It's more or less on what my process looks like, but saying it out loud, it doesn't mean that I am going through that step by step with the person. It's just some of the things that I don't make myself available to, like
About
you said, because we're usually go all in. And I guess that's that barrier for me as we start opening the gates one at a time, unlocking the door one at a time, is to make sure that first I have to know that it's worth it being 100% honest, right? So that is that process for me. And
I
like you
think it's
just
worth
said,
it being 100% honest.
mm,
It no, you said something that is worth it being 100% honest. It is worth it to be a hundred.
it is. And that's what I said. I have to see that it's like, when the person starts asking you in terms of whether it's past relationships and where you are, you get to know how easy it would be to break that barrier or how hard it would be to break that barrier to get to know with that person, right? So like you said, it's all about the vibe and how you open up and to go. And of course, I'm not going to say, oh, we're not in a relationship, so you're not going to talk to me. No, never say anything like that. Like, no, that's not going to be like you said. Like, I work in the morning, so I'm usually in bed by 10. No, I don't. But it just sounds good to say. So then that person would be like, oh, okay, so if I need to talk to her, I'll make sure that I speak to her. But it doesn't mean that if it's 10:05 and the conversation is good, I'm going to be like, oh, it's past my bedtime. It'll probably be 11. We're still talking. That's not going to happen. And like you said, it's a vibe, but that regulation is there. And the person will make sure that, oh, man, I made up time or I was doing something. Now I have to make sure that I speak to this person before they go to sleep, or I know that they wake up. And people would actually, like, I've done that before where I was talking to someone and I knew the time they woke up and I would set my alarm to wake up or send, that was before the scheduled texts. I'm so grateful for pre-scheduled texts now, because before you ask, I would wake up my alarm to send that text, and it meant the world to them because it was like, damn, like I look forward to it. If I missed one day, it's like, is everything okay? You overslept, and that kind of makes it. I'm always supposed to do that. So I like little things like that. It's not about flowers, roses, and all those extra gifts. It's more or less on the little things that adds up, like the good morning text that you talk about, but not just good morning or just answer okay or yes. I want to have that conversation based on the original few days would dictate how much I open myself up to. And where a person's like, I'm looking forward to get off work to speaking to you, hear your voice. It's like, okay, yeah, yeah, I hear you. Like things like that makes you want to be like, I want to scratch off all of the barriers, all the rules, because this is nice to speak to you.
So then in that case, so we are coming down to the last couple of minutes of the show. So with that, with exactly what Fabie said in regards to, the little things. So I feel that it's a good question to ask as far as homework because, obviously in this show, we give homework. I mean, why not? We done talk and had you listen to us, be with us on live. So with that said, homework for me, I feel a good question would be what are the little things that, you look forward to someone doing for you as you are dating, right? We talked about how do you know if you're ready. So, with that said, what are the things that you're looking forward to someone doing for you? Little things, right? That would make you smile or, will make your heart melt, for those of so let us know, send us emails or, post comments below. Type it up, write to us. Let us know what are little things that perhaps people have done for you that, really made your day. And, you want to share with the world, you want to share with us here on our show. We'll gladly share and read your comments.
Yes.
And definitely subscribe to our channel because we want to continue doing this. Yep. Fab, what do you think?
I agree. And we only have a couple minutes left, but question of the day. I can't end without the question of the day, scenarios of the day. So here's the scenario, Sylvie. Um, you're out on a date, whether it's your spouse, your friend, or whatever. You're on a date with someone, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you look over and you see your best friend, husband, out on a date, really cozy with somebody. What do you do? Do you tell her or do you not?
I'm watching everything he's doing. Then I'm gonna be in my mind, that's not my business. But then she's my best friend.
Yes.
Oh, well, okay. So if she's my best friend, I'm definitely gonna pass that by her. That's just me. I'm watching everything. I'm watching everything.
So this person, like, they're really cozy. So clearly they're on a date, and like it doesn't look like it's a new date. Like
I'm
it looks like
watching
they're in a
everything from
relationship.
afar. I'm not gonna interrupt. I'm just gonna watch. I mean, in the same token, that's your best friend, but you wanna, have
So
some kind of
here's
boundary.
the scenario now. Okay. So do you tell or do you not tell? And I guess the second question mark that goes with that is, would you fear of them stay one, the friend, you tell the friend and the friend chooses to stay with the person. So do you not tell because one, you don't want to lose this friendship, or two, because it's none of your business?
No, I will tell because if we are in a friendship and we are best friend, I think that we should be able to communicate certain things. I will tell, and that's not my business if the person decides to stay. As far as if my best friend decides to stay or not to stay, that's not my part. My part is I saw something, I don't know what it is. I'm just letting you know. Done. That's my part as far as the friendship that I hold in regards to you and I being best friend, because there's different type of friendship. There's the acquaintance, there's the one that you hang out with, and there's the one that never step in your house. If we are best friends, that means we're very close, where we have this relationship established with one another, where we communicate at that level. So if we taking into consideration that we are best friend and that we are communicating at that level, I'm just gonna pass it by you. I don't know what it is. I don't want to make any assumption. I'm just gonna say, hey, you know what? I saw hubby, you was with somebody. I don't know. Maybe you know, maybe you don't know. Not my business. I'm just letting you know. You know what I'm saying? Oh, by the way, girl, what was you doing today? Let me borrow this jacket. And it is what it is. I'm not gonna worry about if you're staying, if you're not staying, because at that point, that's not my business.
Yeah, that's a, like I always say, that's above my pay scale.
Yeah, it's not, to
I
each
mean,
his
I
own.
struggled with that because, like, ideally, I feel like I would want a person to come and tell me. And a lot of the times, like when they ask that question, people say, "Oh, that's not my business. I don't get into married people stuff, and that's not my business." It's easier for you to say, but listen, if I considered you a friend, and most of my friends are not actually my friends, they're actually my sisters, and you're like family, so you see a whole different side of me. Because at this point, I'm going over there and be like, "Oh, where's Sylvie? Sylvie in the car?" Listen,
La.
I am going over there and I'll be like, "Hey, introduce." I wouldn't be like going over there. Like, I will go and introduce myself. "Hey, I didn't know you would be here. Hi, how are you?" Because you never know. Sometimes, like, that situation is he cheating, okay? Not no co-worker, professional. So I'm not going to be petty. I'm gonna be like, "Hi, how are you? I'm so and so. I'm his wife's best friend, and yeah, how are you? How is she?" Knowing that obviously my best friend or sister, we talk every single day, so I'm kind of saying like, "I see you," and by the time I came over there, she probably on her way, or she probably already had the video. So I'm that kind of friend. So
I would want somebody to tell me. That is the only reason why I am saying. Let me be the judge. Tell me the information, what you're seeing, without having all of your salt and pepper into it. Just tell me
Yeah,
what you saw,
exactly.
and then let me make that decision and let me make that determination. Okay, X, Y, and Z. But because I know that I would want to know, especially if I know you, my best friend, like you're supposed to, look out for me, whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
And
you
I
might
would
be
want a
something,
person to look out. I would want a person to do the same thing for me too.
yeah, maybe
But
it's
you'll
something
be surprised where
it's not.
a lot of people actually said they wouldn't say anything. It's none of their business and they're just gonna keep going and mind their
It all
own business.
depends.
Like, okay, um, you can tell a
Listen,
lot.
if
My face
I see
expression,
Andrew, hello, if
listen,
I see Andrew anywhere and I don't see you, I am going in. That's just what it is. It's a level of sisterhood. Like you're my cousin, but we are sisters. So it's like, Andrew, what are you doing? Who is that? What's your name, lady? Miss, what's your name? Ah,
excuse
okay.
me,
Like
ma'am.
we're
Excuse me,
going
ma'am.
in. That's different. That's different. That's the level of what we are talking about as far as friendship, best friend. If we
Yes,
are tight
yes.
like this,
And
I
that's the
expect
same
you to
thing
do that.
I said. That's the same thing I said. I said I would want to know because whoever it is, like I want you to know that I saw you and you know what you're walking home to. I probably don't even have to say anything to you, but I want you to see me because if you know I'm friends with your wife and that's my family, that's whoever, you know I will get on the phone and you know who's going to be in that three-way and who by me being involved, you know what that would look like. And I think any spouse of my cousins, sisters, whoever would know who I am. If you see me, you don't even have to doubt. It's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, you know who I don't have a lot of friends. My families are my best friends and who I go with. So that's why I said, if it's somebody that I know, you know what I'm going to do because there's no secret in that. I will
Mm-hmm.
and you know who you have to go through. So you might as well just do your dirt and go about your business. But I would want to know. And with that being said, like you said, what you do on after that is fine, but I don't want anybody to ever doubt me to feel like, oh, are you sure you saw him? Because with now technology, I'm taking
Video,
pictures,
picture.
I'm
But
getting my
even
receipt.
then, even then, when people love, even then, you can show them the video, you can show them
But
the whole scenario.
I'm not telling for you to be like, oh, you need to leave him or what you need to do, what you don't need to do.
That's not my
It's more
call.
or less on, I'm sending something to you. What you do with it, that's on you. Like you just
Okay.
said, it's not like, oh, you need to do that and know that. Why did you
That's
take
not my
him? That's
call.
not my business at this point. That's maybe you guys have an arrangement. I don't know, but
Basically, I don't know.
but I think the fact that a lot of people did say that they wouldn't even say anything, they would ignore it. Me knowing who I know, I rather feel like I would probably lose that friendship. And I don't want that because I can't be real. I cannot be holding no secret from you, from your husband to be like, oh, this is between the two of us. Can you, I will never do that again. Please. If the guy's like, please, that this was just so I don't know what we've been struggling. I don't want to know what you got going on. Don't put me in your business. I don't want to know. Clearly you felt comfortable enough to have it up in the public eye. So you don't care. Did I
No,
go find you in a hotel? Did I go find? No, I'm at a restaurant and you out bright daylight. If it's not me, it's gonna be sister so and so from church. Okay.
exactly. With
So
that
that's
said,
my thing. Is you felt compelled to embarrass my friend that you couldn't pack up your stuff and leave because it wasn't working out. That you had to take the next person out. Don't put me in your business. So when I tell you, told on yourself for bringing this person to this damn restaurant. That's how I feel.
and so
So
said Fab, right? That's what she said. So she said. So with that said,
with that said, thank you for watching. Tell me what you would do. Would you tell or would you say this is not my business? Let me know in the comments. As you know, I always dig out these scenarios.
yes, let us know, and definitely homework. What are the little things that you would want somebody to do for you as you get to know them, right?
Of course.
Dating.
So thank you for watching yet another episode. If you've gotten this far, we hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, whatever day it is that you're watching this. Enjoy it, make the best of it, and remember to stay a reason that you loved yourself. If you don't know what I mean by that, that means you haven't watched our first couple of episodes. So go back. This would be the fourth episode. Go back and see the first three and hope that we continue to grow with each other.
Yep. See ya.
See you. Bye.